Hi, I'm Justin. I'm a ClickUp consultant. Today I'm going to show you through the navigation of ClickUp 2.0 to make sure that as soon as you get it, you'll be really comfortable in how to navigate around where things are. Quite a few things have moved. If you don't have access to ClickUp 2.0 yet, don't worry, it's coming. The ClickUp 2.0, the ClickUp team is working really hard to get it released and perfect, and they're doing it seems like a really amazing job. It's gone really quickly. Okay, so let's jump in. Now, you can see I've got ClickUp 2.0 up on my screen here. One thing I do want to point out for just first is that you can upgrade by team. So currently I have my consulting and public spaces still on ClickUp 1.0, and this one has upgraded. So that's allowed me to kind of compare features and make sure I'm happy with everything before I switch my other teams over. And you can also switch back. I don't know how long these features will continue into the public release, but I imagine a little while. It seems like the ClickUp team is really cares about the user's experience. So, which is awesome. Okay, so you'll notice a few things are different. In fact, quite a lot is different. So one of the main changes with the navigation in ClickUp 2.0 is they've consolidated everything into one place. So previously we used to have the different teams up in this kind of corner over here. We used to have spaces in a bar across the top, and then we used to have like lists in a bar down the side. Now everything is in this left-hand sidebar. So the teams, which are now renamed to workplaces, are in this bottom corner here. You can see this is me, and this is the team that I'm currently looking at, and I can switch between my workplaces or add a new one. Spaces are in this column down the side here. If you do click this pin icon, it'll open that up and show you the different names. So I've currently got 2 spaces and I can add a further one. This is also where our goals, reporting, and portfolios are. Up the top here, we've got these little 4 dots, and this will take us to everything. So this is all tasks in all projects, in all lists, in all spaces, absolutely everything. Okay, so I'm going to jump into content here, and then this next pane is our lists. Now I'm going to minimize this one. So projects have been kind of recreated as folders. So realistically, you have lots of tasks and they're divided up into lists. All projects we're doing in 1.0 was kind of grouping lists together, and that's exactly what folders do now. However, folders aren't necessary. So if you have a space and you just want a couple of lists in there, then you can just do that. You don't need to have them in a folder like we did in 1.0. So I'm going to name this list to do, and it's just on its own. Within the lists, we have lots of things that are changing, but I'll go into that in the next video. So the other big thing with navigation is we used to have time, list, and board up the top here. We've now changed to these views. Now you see here I've got quite a few, that's quite confusing. So let's jump to one that's a bit more simple. Okay, you notice that views are specific to each item. So a list can have its own views, and there's many views here. This folder can have its own views, also a space can have its own views, and everything has its own views. So those are the 4 levels you can assign views to. Obviously, setting up different views for each list would be a lot of work, so the ClickUp team have shortcut that dramatically by allowing you to set defaults. So you can set defaults within your space, which will then apply to all of your folders and all of your lists, or you can change them one by one as you want. So it allows a lot of granularity in if each one you kind of needs to be slightly different or you want to see it slightly different. Okay, so let's jump into our folder, get to know ClickUp. So automatically there's always the list view. This is kind of like the heart of ClickUp now. And this is similar to the way it used to be. There's some really interesting changes with the columns. But anyway, I'm going to go into that in another video. Next we have this board view, and this is pre-populating currently, and we can see it's similar to our old board view. Again, there's been some changes here, but I'll leave that to the next video. Now we can add more views. So first of all, we can add another list view. Why we want to do this? Because it's essentially the same as the first one, but views are a combination of 2 things. So it's not just the type, board, list, Gantt, box, or time. It's also the filters. So I could have multiple list views, each one having different filters. So for example, this is default, this is everything over here. This one, and I'm going to give this a name. I'm terrible at not naming my my views. So this one I'm going to call priority. Sometimes I just want to jump in and look at the most important things. So I'm going to create a filter. I'm I'm going to say that, where have we got it? Here we go. Priority is urgent. Okay, and we've got one. Now, you see this little, I guess, tip come up here. You can either save or reload this layout. So if you navigate away and then come back, this layout will disappear. Um, that sounds annoying, but it can be really useful if you want to jump into a big list, just see some really specific information without messing with the integrity of the list. It can be really useful for quickly seeing something and then just kind of getting rid of your filter, as you would often do with filters. However, we can save it, and reload will do the same thing. It'll just reload it without these filters on, but we can save it. And we can either save it for everyone, which means that this view that we're currently clicked on under this item will be permanently changed, or we can save it as a new view. So for example, if we had been creating this filter in our original list, instead of changing our original list to only show priority tasks, we could have created our new view here. So we'll save this one for everyone because it is a new view, so that's okay. And it gives us in the previous menu and also here the option to autosave. What this means is that it'll basically be the same functionality as a lot of other softwares where if you make a change, every change is permanent. So every time you change the layout or filter it differently, it's all permanent and everyone will see it. It's just auto-saved. And that can be pretty useful in a lot of cases, but I actually really like the ability to have one default view that you can then change to see one thing, but it automatically just reverts back to the standard view, if you will. Okay, so there's our priority view set up, and we can switch between our default view and our priority view really easily. Okay, so next up we can create another board view, but we've already got one, so we won't do that. We can create a calendar view and call it this month. And we can set what it's set to, so we can have one calendar view for month, one for week, one for day, whatever we wished. I'll go a bit more into the detail of each view in a later video. And then we have box, which previously set in a different menu, but now is just one of the views. And we have Gantt. Okay, so I won't jump into the details of these because I will do that in a later video. But the last thing I want to show you is that we can favorite these views. Now this affects the navigation quite a bit because once we've added it to favorite, so this is telling us, so remember this is a view of this item. So it's the item get to know ClickUp folder. So I'm just going to write Gantt on the end there. Probably I'd normally name that a bit better, but just for the purposes of this demo, that's good enough. Where it does pop up is under this favorites menu bar. You can see I've already got another one favorited over there, and I can jump between them. Now that's a bit pointless and when I've only got these two items here, but if you have say a list of 20 folders and 40 lists and each list has like 5 views, that's like 200 items, it can get a bit crazy. So having just the ones that you use the most favorite up the top, you can jump straight to them. And that is the specific view of that specific item. So you're not just jumping straight to the item, but also to the view of the item, which is really handy. Okay, so that's the big changes for navigation. In the next video, I'm going to jump into the specific changes to lists and boards and calendars and boxes and all that kind of good stuff. So if you'd like to see that one, hit subscribe below. If you click on the bell icon, I think it'll definitely show up on your feed. And if you do have any custom training or setup that you'd like done, I will put a consulting link below. If you click through to there, you can see a little bit more about me and set up a call with me for free, just to chat about what you're looking to do and how I can help you. If you do have any more questions, anything around that you're still confused about with 2.0 or what you'd like the next video to be on, please chuck that in the comments. I'll be reading them and replying quite actively. I really want to see what's most useful to create more videos on.